Well, friends, it's a big event at Wellington, Kansas this weekend. I'm going to tell you about it. It's called the Kansas Wheat Festival. In fact, the governor signed a proclamation naming it that just a couple of years ago, and they've asked yours truly, KWLS Radio, to put together a big farm and home show, and we've got her going. Stand by. I'll tell you what's going on there because there's some things you might want to see.
Every father would like to have their son farm with them and grandson and continue to farm. It's kind of a legacy, I guess. And then my dad was a farmer, and then of course then I am and my son. So actually Jackson, would be the fifth generation from my grandfather. It's going to be key for us to have American Ag Credit. It's a long-term partnership with them is what it is.
Well, as the Kansas Wheat Festival kicks off on Wednesday of this week and then goes through Sunday, we have a couple of days of very important information for those of us in agriculture, and it's quite honestly for a lot of people in business as well. One of the first things I want to tell you is it starts on Friday at about 10 o'clock in the morning, and we're going to have an antique tractor show, an antique truck show, helicopter rides, arts and crafts booths, big farm machinery displays inside and outside. We've got an air-conditioned facility called the Wellington High School. It's one of the most beautiful high schools I've ever seen in my life. And we'll be inside there for all the booths and all the programming, which starts with a free lunch on Friday at 11:30. Impact Bank of Wellington, Kansas, picking up the tab for all of us there, and quite a deal. And we're going to hear from KSN's Dave Freeman talking about the weather, and I want to ask him about El Nino. I've been hearing so much about that gobbledygook, but they about convinced me that El Nino's got something to do with our wet weather here in the Midwest. Way too wet. Corn's going downhill, soybeans going downhill, in the fields, flooded, and quite honestly, we've got some major problems because of too much water, and they predicted that because of El Nino back in January and February. I read about it, and I thought, threw it in the trash. They've convinced me maybe I better pay a little more attention. Dave Freeman will talk about that. Daniel O'Brien from Colby, KSU, talking about grain and livestock prices. That's what he does for a living, and he does it very well. That'll be on Friday right after lunch. Tim O'Sullivan, attorney from Wichita, Kansas, will be talking about estate planning. And that's a big deal, friends, especially business people that work their hearts out all their life. When they pass away, they may have to give, and some people do, 75% of what they've got to that old boy in Washington who we don't like anyway. Ridiculous. He's got some ways to maybe get around that. Then on Saturday, the FFA's got a corn plot field day starting about 10 o'clock in the morning. There'll be a big free lunch again. We're going to have a barbecue on Saturday that'll be free. Boys of the Fort will be in concert. There's a little entertainment, and then we'll have a doctor from Via Christi that will be talking about maybe things like too much sun and a few things like that I think a lot of people will have an interesting session with, and you can have at least 20-30 minutes of questions and answers with all of these people. An antique tractor pull goes on Saturday as well. So it's a big event. We're proud to be associated with the Kansas Wheat Festival, and there's all kinds of events go on from Wednesday through Sunday. Downtown Wellington, at the park, just plan to be there, and folks, sure be with us Friday and Saturday as our group puts together a good farm and home show that I think you're going to really like. And I'll top it off with this. If I haven't enticed you yet, how about drones? They're going to be a big deal in the future for agribusiness. And we've got a drone there demonstrating both days, showing you how you can sit at your desk, at your house, and check your wheat fields, corn fields, soybean fields, cattle, and I could go on. See you in Wellington Friday and Saturday.